Do you remember all of those videos in which I talked about the possible deleted scenes between Ekko and Jinx from Season 2 of Arcane? Well, if you do not remember those, it means you should go on and watch them. Today I will talk about another deleted scene between Ekko and Jinx, but this one is actually confirmed to be deleted. It's part of Season 1, Episode 7. In Episode 7, in the beginning of the episode, what we got in the final cut is a music video with the firelights. In the beginning, it was supposed to be a scene where Ekko tries to save Powder, but I will play out an audio with Amanda Overton, one of the writers, describing the entire scene and why they decided to finally remove it. Remember, that audio is played out from the extras of the box set release of the first season, and I put a link in the description from the location where I took the audio from, and of course I put a link towards the box set if you want to purchase it yourself.
Open with a scene that showed you exactly what happened in Ekko and Jinx's past when they were kids. What we did in the first version of the cold open in the writer's room is we crafted this sequence of how Ekko sort of started the firelights. So in the wake of Vander's death, Silco took over the lanes, there was a lot more orphans, and he sort of collected the orphans, took them under his wing, and gave them a safe haven. But he was always looking for a way to get closer to Silco, because he thought that Silco was keeping Powder prisoner. He finally, after all this work, finds Powder in Silco's lair, and he says, "I'm here to rescue you." And she says, "I don't want to be rescued. I'm Jinx now." And then when he tries to pull her out of there physically, she slapped him the same way that Vi slapped her in episode 3. And it was such an emotional scene, and we loved it so much. But what we realized is seeing that scene at the beginning of the episode didn't set up their fight at the end. It was the fight at the end of the episode. So by layering in some of those hints of the moment of the childhood in their fight at the end of the episode, you could get the whole story I just told you, you would feel it in that fight scene. We were like, oh, it's great, it's wonderful. We can show it all in real time in the audience in our present day story. We don't need that flashback scene anymore.
Now I will try to explain what I believe she means. I could be wrong about this, so tell me in the comment section if you have a better idea. In the beginning of the fight, we have Jinx telling to Ekko, the boy savior. And in a previous scene between Ekko and Vi, he tells Vi that she cannot save Powder, which means that at one point Ekko tried saving Jinx. Either way, they have this fight scene where they remember a moment from their childhood where they were playing this game, right? Where they were playing a game and Ekko finally wins. And because he remembers this moment from their childhood and how good of a friendship they had, he stops himself from finishing the job, but this time instead of Jinx slapping him for trying to save her, because realistically, if he doesn't finish the job, he is about to talk to her about something. He is about to try and save her from Silco. Jinx doesn't want that, and she basically slaps him by taking out the grenade. That's how I see it, but all I mentioned right now is the information I gave to you with the context of the deleted scene. I don't think I would have understood that without the context of the deleted scene, which is why I still believe the existence of a flashback is very important. And I am not trying to say that I know better than the creators. I believe a flashback scene would have helped set up the fight scene between Ekko and Jinx, and also all the future moments between Ekko and Jinx, because there is a 7-year time skip where a lot can happen. And I do not believe that the only moments between Ekko and Jinx are the ones you can see on screen or the ones which are implied, speculated, right? So we can speculate about the 7-year time skip where a lot can happen. I believe a lot of fight scenes happened between Ekko and Jinx, and I also believe that Ekko tried to save Jinx multiple times. That's why I keep pushing for a novel, because through a novel you can explain that time period very well, with a lot of detail. If they want to release a book about Ambessa, why not a book about the 7-year time skip? You can talk about Vi, you can talk about Jinx, Silco's rise to power, the creation of the Hex Gates. A lot of topics can be covered in a book. Tell me in the comment section what your opinion is about all of this. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, feel free to do so. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, why do you care so much about a novel? If you remember, I mentioned that a flashback scene would help a lot with setting up the moments between Ekko and Jinx from the future. Now think what a novel can do. The follow-up question is probably what scenes between Ekko and Jinx? The ones from the second season, where they end up being friends. It is implied, of course, because they paint each other. And the idea is that they cannot replace the construction of a relationship between Ekko and Jinx with what was constructed between Ekko and Powder in the alternate timeline. That's how I see it. And that's why I believe the addition of some flashback scenes makes a lot of sense. And let's say the flashback scenes would play out like this. Ekko tries to save her multiple times, she refuses each time, but she becomes more and more lenient to the idea that, okay, someone cares for her, someone wants to save her, maybe there is something to that. But Silco is there, Silco is in her life, stopping all of that from happening, stopping all the ideas of leaving him and being saved. But now without Silco, Ekko can finally save her. Ekko can finally do what he couldn't in the past. You understand what I'm saying? You have the failures in the past, the rekindled fire in his heart with Powder from the alternate timeline, and now he finally succeeds saving Jinx in the future. And that's how they become friends. Yes, I mentioned friendship, you can attack me in the comment section now. Yeah, if you judge by the art book, where Ekko and Jinx are holding hands, for sure they will end up being Time Bomb 2.0. If they want to release that in the future, whatever. As I mentioned previously multiple times, I have no stake in this, I don't really care if it happens. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The idea is that if they are going to base some of the future storylines on stuff they have in the art book, you also have to consider other ideas. For example, did you know that previously they wanted to send Powder to Bilgewater, another location from Runeterra, but they never did? However, it is in the art book, and maybe they are going to send Jinx there. We know that she left with that blimp in the end of the second season, and I believe it is going to end up arriving in Bilgewater. And guess who else believes the same? Yes, the lore expert Necrit. He also posted a video recently where he brought to the attention of the audience the idea of Powder leaving Piltover Zone and going to Bilgewater. But I made a specific video about that. If you want to watch it, there it is. If you want to tell me something else in the comment section, you can do so, especially if you agree with me. I cannot wait to see your comments if you agree with me. If you disagree with me, I'm joking. Tell me whatever you want in the comment section, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.